So this is mandatory if you're checking out any sort of RC racing machine. You're gonna take one hand, place it on the front shock tower, the other hand on the rear shock tower, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna push down on the suspension. You're gonna work it back and forth, front to back, side to side, and then you're gonna tell the owner of the vehicle how you think the suspension feels. Feels pretty good. All right, guys, we're gonna check out the Kyosho MP-10e today, and I'm really excited about this because I haven't had a Kyosho buggy in a really long time, and this one looks absolutely awesome, even as a ready to run. So this is gonna get you up and going, have fun at the track, and maybe even a little bit of a club racing action with it. So coming up in the video, I'm gonna tell you about all the features you need to know about the buggy, and then we're gonna go hit the track at RC Madness. It's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna start off on the outside with the body, and it's got the same shape as the racing MP-10e body, the high-end version. It just comes factory painted, and they've got this bright green, which I assume is a nod to Kanai, which is just very cool. Couple little K logos in the black and silver areas in the back, pre-decal from the factory as well. Just a really cool look to it and aerodynamic. I like the little swoops that are in the back, the large cab area. Then it's got the large Kyosho wing molded in black with Kyosho decal. And I believe that's an IFMAR legal wing, not that you're gonna go and really worry about that. The wing's mounted to this one-piece wing mount, and this looks super strong. On all four corners are the K-Blox tires mounted on these white dish wheels. It feels like it's got like a firm insert on the inside, probably open cell, but the K-Block tire itself looks pretty good. It's got like a medium rubber compound to it, but I really like the tread pattern, and on the box it says it works well in dirt and on asphalt. So if you're just bashing with this thing, the tires are probably gonna last for a bit. Let's pop the body off now and take a look at the rest of the chassis. What a good looking buggy, right? Kyosho just built some amazing cars, even the ready to runs. And the first thing I'm noticing here is the weight forward bias. They've got the motor up front, the batteries are placed up front, they've got a new brace here. Wow, this is really cool. So starting off in the front, we've got their large bore shocks that Kyosho are really well known for. It looks like the bodies themselves are a hard coat, and then they've got bladders inside the aluminum shock caps. I wish that they gave us shock boots for a basher style of buggy. They've got the same shocks in the rear, by the way, and they do have adjustable preload collars on it. So looks like a good shock setup. Feels a little on the soft side to me, especially when I go throw some batteries in here. I bet you we're gonna have to go and adjust the preload collars a little bit. They give you sway bars front and rear. The shock towers, those look pretty cool. They are a stamped shock tower, aluminum, but they have been machined after they've been stamped. So there's a recess for the shock post and a little bit of a recess on the side for some shock clearance. Heavy duty looking turnbuckles, just a standard steel, but at least it's an adjustable tie rod setup so you can adjust camber. I like the new lower arms. I think these are newer again. It's been a while, but I like that the webbing area has actually been filled in, so it's a nice strong arm. Then you got your caster block in your steering knuckle out here. The steering knuckle itself is cast metal, and it's kind of your standard Kyosho setup that we've seen on a lot of the cars over the years. It just works really well. And then the A, B, and C blocks are actually aluminum plates, and they have the pivot inserts in there, or the pin inserts in there, but they don't give us any extras in the kit. So I'm guessing this setup that they have on here works pretty good. The D block out back is a composite. There it is. And then they've got the nice arms in the back as well. They're not the same as the front, but lots of surface area around the outside where the pivot block is, so those won't break. Large hub carriers out back. The rear turnbuckles are adjustable, and there are some options for the camber link as far as if you want to go lengthen the rod, shorten the rod, raise it, lower it, depending on how you want to set up your roll for your track. Rear sway bar, rear shock tower looks really good. So like, you know, most Kyosho racing buggies, I mean, this one, even though it's a ready to run, looks like it has a good setup to it. And although the shocks feel soft, they are super smooth. Back to the chassis now, and they have a stamped aluminum plate. Looks like a 3mm thick plate, beveled edges on the sides, countersunk screw holes, and might as well talk about it now, guys. These are, I believe, JIS screws, so they're not exactly Phillips screws. So if you have a JIS screwdriver, everything is going to go fine as far as wrenching on the car. And there are a couple of cap head screws I could see throughout this, but it would have been really nice if they just gave us all hex hardware screws throughout. So back up to the top of the chassis, nice thin mud guards on the side, so those are lightweight. Then they have the standard size battery trays on both sides, so you can put a 7.4 volt LiPo on each side. but they don't give you the foam block like they do on the racing kit, so you could go and use a shorty pack. And I've got a bunch of shorty packs I would like to use in this, so I'm gonna have to create my own foam block. And then there's some bracing for the chassis. So there's the top brace in the front that goes to the steering cranks, and quickly, you know, the steering itself looks like standard Kyosho Buggy steering to me. Twin crank setup, servo saver, aluminum acronym bar with a couple holes for adjustment, adjustable tie rods out to the steering knuckles, so it is tunable. Large aluminum brace tie rod to help brace up the front. It goes to the center diff mount, and then for the rear section, it looks like a composite stiffener, but this one looks like it's got a lot of glass content in it, so that's probably pretty stiff. And then it looks like they have another composite stiffener plate down on the bottom of the chassis, so it's braced up pretty well. Getting into the drivetrain, pretty much all modern Kyosho A-scale buggies have a really good drivetrain in them. Metal ring and pinion gears, metal gears inside the differential cups. The cups themselves are composite plastic, ball bearings throughout, and I really like that this has nice universals in the front and in the rear. Dog bones in the center, which is totally fine. And then the center diff has a steel spur gears. Then they've got a cast metal motor plate, and I at least like that it is a sliding motor plate. So setting the gear mesh is super easy, and it supports the differential really well. This has ball bearings throughout, and I believe that they're just a metal shielded bearing. And finally, guys, that leaves the electronics. And for the steering servo, there's a Perfex KS5071. And from reading the box art, it says it's a newly designed high torque metal gear servo, so that will give you some decent steering. Over here is the Torx 8 2300 kV motor, so that should have a little bit of rip to it. It's a sensorless system. And then over here is the Brains 8 speed controller. That looks very hobby wingish to me. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Cooling fan on top, and then they give you T-plugs with this, so there's a Y adapter setup already installed from the factory, so you could go and hook up your T-connector batteries to it. To control the buggy, this is where it gets really cool. They give you their synchro radio system with it. It's got a LCD screen on it, so you can go and adjust endpoints, which is important with a racing buggy. Nice grip to the radio system. I like the angled wheel on it. Just a really cool setup. And then in the box, you're gonna find the usual stuff like an instruction manual and some cross wrenches. All right, guys, it is time to go hit the track with this thing. I can't wait. All right, guys, I'm up here at RC Madness. Tyler just helped me out with the close-up shots, and this is my first lap with the buggy. Let's see how we do. I mean, I haven't even really looked at the track yet. All right, guys, so what I'm noticing first up is this thing needs a bit more brake, and I went and cranked it up on the radio system. Take this jump easy. They've actually finished up the season here, so the track hasn't been groomed. And these tires, well, they're working okay. It definitely needs some racing tires on here. Overshot that. But you know what? Actually, this buggy's pretty good. Now I'm getting a handle on this thing. Well, yeah, definitely needs some more braking. But man, to hit that triple, that's awesome. Come through the corner. Yeah, definitely needs some better tires. The track's a little blown out and it's taking the bumps pretty well. Man, look at that thing. The more I drive it, the more I get the characteristics down, and I like the buggy. Look at that. I hit that corner good. It's rotating well. Whoa, big air, it landed it. Blasting through the corner. Yeah. Here we go again. I should have brought some tires with me. This thing would have been hooked up with just some tires. A little soft on the bottom end as far as the speed controller goes. I mean, I haven't driven A-scale all year. I think just one or two cars I brought up here for some fun, and it's actually making me look pretty good. Mid-range throttle is good, and then it's got some punch at the top end. You know what, guys, with a few little tweaks, you could definitely take this out racing, no problem, without the huge budget of one of the high-end kits. I'm so excited I found my old Kyosho shirt. I thought I threw it out or something. Now I get to wear it for the end of the video. And guys, I had so much fun with the MP-10e up at RC. Man, it's such a capable buggy. I was laying down some pretty quick laps right out of the box with this thing. So cool. So, I mean, this thing rotates really well. It's got plenty of steering. Once you dial it in right, I had to go and turn up the trims through the radio system. But I think I would still swap out the steering servo for something with a bit more torque, actually tighten down the servo saver a little bit more as well, just to get some more precision steering out of it. But it did well. It rotates really well around the corners. I think they got the differential set up well out of the box, but I would like to see a little bit thicker of a shock oil, I think. So that might be one tuning thing that I'm going to do to it. And again, this is built for a general purpose buggy. So obviously if you're going to take it to a track, you're going to have to tune it. That's just what you do at a track. But I think for general use, it's going to be fine. Again, on the side of the box, it says like the tires are good for dirt and asphalt. So they want this to be a general purpose buggy, but it just showed me it was really capable on the track. I think I'm actually going to go and tweak the speed controller as well. It is a tunable speed controller. I just felt it needed a bit more brake and a little bit more punch, and I see that you know, there's definitely room to change that on the speed controller parameters. But I think the sensorless brushless system did really well. I think I also swap out the radio too. I just want a little bit more tuning features, a little bit more of a precise feel. But for the general purpose use, this radio is absolutely awesome, especially since you could tune the endpoints on it. Definitely go and check all your endpoints when you do go get it set up, because I had to do a little bit of tuning there. But guys, it was just a killer experience with this buggy. I've got some TZO tires that I'm going to throw on here just to help dial it in a bit more. Again, these are general purpose tires. I want to go with a more racing type tire for the track use. But other than that, I mean, I don't think you really need to do anything else. Just go out and enjoy it. Kyosho did another awesome job on their A-scale buggies, and they nailed it on this one. I'll have links for it in the video description below.